Are you ready for the first ever Battle of the Mics? I'm Leighton Hart from Market Street Media. This is podcasting for fun and profit, and it's happening right here, right now on Podcasting for Fun and Profit. Battle of the Mics. Just get ready because there's going to be wires, foam, metal flying everywhere. You grab some safety goggles, maybe grab a mouth guard. You want to be safe. You want to protect yourself. So the question is, which type of mic is better for podcasting, a condenser mic or a dynamic mic? That's the question of the day. And before we wrap up this episode today, you are going to know the ins and outs of the two major types of microphones. And I'm going to do a test right here on the air so that you can hear the differences between them and you can figure out which one might work best for you. Does that sound good? I hope so, because we're doing it either way. So let's get to it. Let's do it. Right off the bat, one of the things I love most about podcasting is that you don't need to have any equipment. So even though we're doing a battle of the mics right now, listen, you don't need a mic. You don't need a studio. You don't need headphones. You don't need that gray acoustic foam that you put on your walls to muffle the sound of you crying yourself to sleep at night. Okay, maybe I'm getting a little too vulnerable here. Anyway, all of that to say that you can start a podcast very simply with no money using just your phone. But like many, many other things, like so many other parts of our lives, there's levels to it, right? And if you want to reach a higher level with your audio, it is best to use a mic. Now, mics come in two major families. They're called the condensers and the dynamics, which also sound like the names of some bands that you'd hear like on a Golden Oldies station. So can you just hear it? Like if these were bands. Here's the song She Wore My Sweater by the Condensers. And after that, we'll spin Lollipops Taste Great by the Dynamics. We're going to talk about this, the condensers and the dynamics right now. So let's chat about condenser mics. And while we discuss condenser mics, I'm going to switch over to a condenser mic right now with this magic tune. Okay. Stand by. Okay, see, I'm back. Technical difficulties. All right, so right now I'm on a condenser mic. We're going to talk about a condenser mic, and I'm going to talk to you on a condenser mic. Pretty cool, right? All right, let's run through the pros and cons of condenser mics. And then we'll jump back. I'll turn the dynamic mic back on and we'll talk about the pros and cons of dynamic mics. So I'm on a condenser mic right now. The huge pro of a condenser mic is that it makes you sound amazing, in my opinion. I love the way that my voice sounds on a condenser mic because it captures just a full range of audio. Like you can hear me breathe in this thing. You can sort of pick up mouth sounds, which some people like, some people don't like, but it brings, you really capture all the realness of the audio here. Another pro of a condenser mic is that really you don't have to break the bank to get one. So like anything else, there's a mic for every budget, but you can definitely find a condenser mic that will make your podcast episode sound great for under $50. In fact, this one that I'm using right now, I think we got a kit that had the mic and the boom arm and all this stuff in it for 25, 30 bucks, something like that. So those are the pros. You sound amazing and they can be relatively inexpensive. Now let's talk about a couple cons. One of the reasons that condenser mics make you sound great is that they're very sensitive and the range of sounds that they capture is really wide, meaning they can hear a lot of nuance in your voice and breath sounds. So they're great for like AMS, SR, SS, whatever the AMSR stuff is, where people just talk like this in the microphone. And that's the whole thing. And they like voice sounds and mouth sounds and all. They're great for that. Ideal for that sort of situation. But that can also be problematic. So a condenser mic hears everything in the room. In fact, right now, and I can hear the air conditioning in my room through my headset. Like if you have a soft drink on the desk when you're recording with a condenser mic, the mic's going to hear like the bubbles in the soft drink. It'll pick up anything and everything. So my caution to you is, if you're a solo podcaster and you can control the noise in your recording space, take a shot at using a condenser mic. I definitely would. Another con of a condenser mic, though, is that you can't plug it directly into your computer. You've got to have what's called an audio interface, or in regular people language, you've got to plug the mic into a little box, and then you have to plug that box into your computer, which this isn't a huge deal, but it is one extra step, and it's yet another piece of the puzzle that can malfunction. And I like as few malfunctions as possible. I like things simple. Okay, now you've heard me talk about condenser mics. This is me on a condenser mic. Now let's say goodbye to the condenser family, and we're going to bring back the dynamic mic. Stand by. Now we're back. And I just slid the thing on my desk, which made that horrible sound. Now we're back on a dynamic mic. In this case, I'm talking to you on my favorite mic, which is the ATR 2100X. And let's go over the pros of dynamic mics. Dynamic mics are more forgiving than condenser mics, which means the place that you're recording doesn't have to be 100% sound treated. So a dynamic mic is much better at grabbing only what's happening right in front of it, and then not much else. So if you have multiple people in the room recording, you may want to go with a dynamic mic so that each mic isn't picking up sounds that another mic should pick up. There's also several models of dynamic mics that you can plug directly into your computer with a USB cable, which makes it really nice and easy to record your show without fooling with a ton of external gear. Dynamic mics also, for the most part, are a little more rugged and durable than condenser mics, which means they're more likely to survive, the occasional drop, a ding, or a lot of trips in your laptop bag than a typical condenser mic would be good for. And let's be sure to cover the cons of dynamic mics too, because there's no perfect mic, but a decent dynamic mic tends to be a little more pricey. The mic I'm using right now, the Audio-Technica ATR 2100X, again, my favorite microphone, but still, it rings up at about $100 or $120 to get this mic. So a little more pricey. They're also, since they're not quite as sensitive as condensers, you have to activate your voice a little more to make sure your energy and emotion is coming through. In fact, I tell our clients here that the mic is going to take away a lot of your energy. So you can think that you are full of life and energy and you have this hugely energetic podcast, but then it comes out the other side and it just kind of sounds like this when your listener's listening to it. So because there's just something happens in between that the energy and emotion doesn't necessarily translate. So if you're going to use a dynamic mic, you have to bring a little extra heat to the process. You really have to bring more of yourself to it, activate your energy, activate your voice, really put a lot of emotion into what you're doing so it will translate. So those are the ins and outs of dynamic mics. When it comes to choosing which mic is right for you, my definitive answer for you is that it depends. A lot of it is going to come down to your setup. It's going to depend on the format of your show. It's going to depend on your voice. But listen, dear listener, don't worry. I did an episode of this podcast about how to choose which type of mic is right for you, depending on your show format, who else is involved, how much time you have to set up and produce and all that stuff. So just go back and listen to episode 2 and you'll learn everything you need to know. All right, friends, make sure you head over to our YouTube. Just search Podcasting for Fun and Profit, and you'll find these full episodes and my smiling face over on YouTube. That's it for this week, and we will talk to you again soon. All right, live streamers, we did it. I'm just going to switch back to this other mic just for what's in gigs, as they say. So curious if you're watching right now, what do you think? Dynamic sound better, or does this condenser mic sound better on your end? Drop me a comment. Let me know. The chat is active right now, so you can jump in there. Let me know. But that's it for today. Hope y'all are well, and we'll talk to you again soon.